That's gonna work great, man. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, there you are. Welcome to Interfleet Broadcasting.
It's
I'm
on.
New York Pete with my buddy, Chris The
Howdy.
Tipsy Toaster.
Howdy, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on our news, pop culture, sci-fi entertainment channel. Full disclosure, Chris The Tipsy Toaster and I grew up watching all the great 70s and 80s TV movies and, cartoons and all that great stuff. And that's what we bring to our unique spin to our corner here, IFB. And everyone needs to know that we are real big Battlestar Galactica fans. So there you have it. We have a great show. We got special guests. We have briefings. We have updates. A lot of great news going on in and around us. I know Tipsy was watching some great shows on TV, and I've been catching up too. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And we have some great stuff going on. But let's
There you go.
let's toast. Well, what do you
Keeps
got?
everything in balance. One is terminated, one is born. Simple, logical, perfect. Keeps every.
All right, dude. Let's do our
You don't
toast.
get that one?
So we can do the toast, man. Not the tunes, the toast.
Curious. You know who his seed mother was?
Of course not.
Oh,
Yes.
we gotta talk about Logan's Run,
Oh, yes.
man.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's right.
So let me get my drink ready. What are you drinking? Tea?
I am drinking. Yes, I'm drinking tea.
Teetotaler.
Listen,
With that, I've got
diabetes is bad,
special-
bro.
special,
Ugh.
that's got, see that in there? That's got,
Yeah, that's nasty. What do you put in there?
huh? That's cinnamon sticks, and then
Oh,
and
boy.
vodka, and then we'll add
You're just
that.
gonna get drunk, man.
And then I like to call this one my flaming cinnamon. So I have habanero liqueur to go with that.
What is the? You're gonna. Oh my God! Make sure you have an autopilot button, because
Of course I
You're
do.
gonna be
It's
a
AI.
mess.
I'm not actually here anyways.
that's right. You're not. I forget. Yeah. You're gonna be a mess. All
Yes.
right.
I'm
Are
ready
you
now.
ready now?
I think so.
Okay.
Hang on, wait a minute. Yep, I'm ready now.
Oh boy. Okay.
bad.
Well, all of the usual suspects, not all, but most of the usual suspects are here with us. Thank you for joining us live, everyone. And as we like to say here at IFB,
Thank you. Geez, I haven't started drinking. That's the problem. I need to start drinking. Anyways, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We are super fans. We are super fans of you, and we look forward to talking about all sorts of fandom stuff tonight. And I think you'll have a good time. And if not, you'll have a good time anyways. You will have a good time. Count Ibley says so. All right, so anyways, here's to you, because fans feel the fleet.
and feel the fleet. Here's to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Excellent. So, Lola, Jim, and Rick, Professor Pat is with us, James, I don't know, Kim Harms, Erica, Dave. What's up, man? I know Dave went to Comic Palooza with Gary. Mediocre Modeler, you'll be getting a request for props soon enough.
Yeah.
Michael Morlock, hey, what's up, Mike? How are you, man? Chris Laskowski from Down Under. Real quick, who else? James McCoy. Yeah. All right, guys. Cool. Lola, it's great whenever you're jumping on here. We'd love to see you on board
Sorry for
into
that.
the fleet
Echoing
broadcasting.
because I forgot to turn off the system thing. Sorry,
What
everyone. So,
What?
Pete, go ahead and start all over again because you were echoing.
Okay. Well,
So,
better than
hi,
nothing.
welcome.
FFF.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're not
No,
gonna do that?
wait.
Okay.
I was just running down names, guys. So I don't know if you must have heard it in the echo chamber that I was in, but thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you. And everybody, our usual suspects. Most of you are here. Thank you for tuning in. Some of you are on YouTube. Some of you are on the Meta Facebook. That's great. Yeah, Dave says he could hear. Thank you,
The
Dave.
meta book.
Yeah, I know Dave.
Facebook.
Dave's gonna jump on maybe next
So
episode.
tonight, I wasn't ready for that.
No, Dave will
Okay.
come on next episode. I think Eric will come on, and between the two of them, they're gonna give us a full update. Erica will give us her perspective. Some kind of like an inside track right into BFC, but Dave and Gary were actually there, so Dave's gonna actually give us. He's gonna send us some of his pictures. He was there. He spoke to all of our favorite celebrities from classic BSG, and I think some of the reimagined. So that's gonna be really cool. Thanks for volunteering, Dave. Hey, Sean, Battlestar Bulletin Board is here as well. We have. Where's John 1? Is John 1?
I'll play your silly game. Where's John 1?
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
So maybe we should just move on over to the battle
Absolute-
briefing.
we have Bert's battle briefing.
You know us, shuffling and moving and doing all
That's
sorts
right.
of cool
We're
stuff.
just gonna,
Whoa, that was a
there it
little loud.
is. And so,
Semper Gumby.
Super Gumby.
Semper
So yes,
Gumby,
so
not Super
Bert's got a really, really cool, another great briefing. Just like all the ones that have come before, the previous briefings are incredible. So Bert, thank you for joining us. Thanks for putting in the work. I know it's a love that we have
Oh, tonight's
for
great.
Battlestar Galactica, right? I mean,
Tonight's
it is a work of passion, and going out of your way and putting this all together. I mean, I get to look at it before everybody else does. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you and welcome.
This guy, one of our favorite episodes.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, hello Fleet. Thanks for having me tonight. Always appreciate it. Always love to be on. And yeah, it's well, it's called the battle briefing. Welcome to it. Today we're actually looking at a fairly small battle. I guess the smallest battle, if you will, the shootout.
It depends
Now-
on if you're talking the battle on the inside or the battle on the outside.
That's right. So it's still an external battle. We will go metaphysical another time where we look at the internal struggle. There's a lot we can do about that. But for today, it's still physical, but it's small. It's the shootout. And I got the idea for the smaller setup. There were two things that triggered this. I've recently been a panelist at the Nebula conference, and was on a panel discussing genre mashups. So Alien, for example, is a genre mashup. You have horror and sci-fi, you mash it together, and sometimes you can have something great, like the Alien franchise. The other thing was me recently rewatching the classic episode The Lost Warrior with my younger teen as part of my, I guess, constant effort to spread the good word of Battlestar Galactica. And what we're looking at one of the most classic genre mashups, the space western, right? So today we settle up, warp out to the lonely frontier because we're talking about a space western. And specifically the episode The Lost Warrior, clear tribute to movies like Shane, for example, complete with farmsteads, a bully town, a gunslinger showdown at the end. And Battlestar is not the only franchise that goes there. Sort of everybody does. Sci-fi had always borrowed from westerns. And today we are asking why. What does frontier justice look like in space, in a space setting? And why is isolation so often at the heart of these stories? in a Western, the classic Western, the law always seems distant, right? Institutions don't reach this far. Maybe there is a sheriff, or maybe just a quiet man with a gun and a conscience. In The Lost Warrior, this is Apollo. Apollo crashes on Equalis, and he has no way to call back to Galactica. There's no fellow officers and comrades around, just a town living under the thumb of a rogue Cylon called Red Eye. A glitching machine, basically, programmed originally for war against the humans, now serving as muscle for the local wannabe lord. There's no trial, there's no tribunal. It's down to Apollo to act. That is pure frontier justice, very classic setup, and we see it all over sci-fi. In Outland with Sean Connery, he plays a marshal in a corrupt mining colony. In Firefly, we have Mel Reynolds, who isn't really a sheriff, technically on the other side of the law, but he has a personal code and he enforces it, often with a gun. And even in Star Trek, we have episodes like North Star or The Spectre of the Gun, and it brings starship captains down into Western-style dilemmas. And in each case, the law isn't written, it's lived. And that's what makes the confrontation, in this case with Red Eye, so compelling. Apollo isn't just facing a Cylon. He does that plenty in other episodes. But he's facing a town that has sort of given up, people too afraid to resist. In the choices he makes to stand alone, to protect basically without official authority, that's classic Western storytelling. So let's look at one of the other themes, the isolation, right? The Lost Warrior, Apollo, is completely cut off. No communication, no support. Decisions are final. So that's powerful in terms of storytelling. Isolation amplifies everything. It removes second opinions. It increases the pressure. It puts the burden entirely on the one person's sense of right and wrong. In the Old West, isolation was very physical. Distance, geography. In sci-fi, it can be temporal or technological. Help isn't slow to arrive. Sometimes it's impossible for it to arrive. You're not hours away from backup. You could be light years away from backup. And we see this across the board. We see it in The Mandalorian, the TV show. Each dusty planet feels like its own sealed-off Western-style town. Even in The Expanse, which I don't really consider overall a space Western, but as soon as you go into the belt, you go to a political and cultural frontier. And when violence breaks out in the belt, it's basically down to whoever's ship has the biggest railgun. So the theme is the same. Isolation breeds improvisation. Apollo has no standing orders. There are no witnesses. What he does it because he has to. There's more clarity, or, well, actually better, more ambiguity. It's what makes the story so rich. And yet, the isolation doesn't just test the ethics. It also erodes them. There's a scene in The Lost Warrior where you can tell that Apollo is starting to wonder if he's going to make it out of there, if he's stuck on this planet for good, if he has to settle down, basically give up. And that tension between duty and surrender, it's very much a frontier dilemma. The same thing Boba Fett starts to wrestle in the book of Boba Fett. The Western and the space Western share this key element, the burden of the hero. So when Apollo kills Red Eye, he doesn't fully rejoice. He doesn't just hold up the gun and declare the town free. He actually looks a bit tired and haunted, and because this is not the war he's used to fight. There was no strategic element. It was just justice carried out with actually no legal mandate and no protection. And sci-fi loves exactly that dilemma too. Like Mal Reynolds shoots first because he has to. Han Solo shot first because he had to. Connery's Marshal in Outland takes down a corporate hit squad by himself, completely alone. Din Djarin in The Mandalorian, he saves villagers he doesn't even know. So these characters don't fight for glory. They fight basically because no one else will. And that's what makes good storytelling. They don't escape entirely clean. They usually the protagonists in these stories are changed by the procedure. They're changed by the story themselves. And this is why stories like they're told in The Lost Warrior still matter. It is why the space western endures, because the frontier is always there. So why do these western archetypes persist within science fiction? I think it's because we're always on the edge of something, right? The Wild West was just the frontier of its time. Now it can be Mars or some drifting orbital station or rogue moon outside the Jumpgate network or the Outer Rim in Star Wars. The frontier is a narrative space where everything breaks down and has to be rebuilt. It's where the system fails and the characters can take over. That's what we get in The Lost Warrior. It's a man and a blaster and a wrong to be righted. And the same DNA runs through The Mandalorian, Firefly, and Outland, and Cowboy Bebop, and Star Trek. Sci-fi keeps returning to the Western because it's never really left. So the thing about frontier justice, it is rarely clean, but it's often necessary. And that's what these stories try to remind us of. Not every problem comes with a clean chain of command or a well-lit courtroom. Sometimes you're alone with that blaster and a choice. And the consequences either way might haunt you. But that's the frontier. It's where the rules end and the story begins. Thanks for joining for this Bert's Battle Briefing. I hope you enjoyed our little trip out to the galactic borderlands. Oh, and do me a favor, please drop your favorite space western in the comments. Thank you.
Excellent, as usual.
I know
And-
I know the one I liked. You had a picture of it, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen that forever. I love it. Westworld.
Oh,
Westworld.
Westworld.
Yeah.
Westworld.
So these three guys here, I picked them because, of course, Archer, he's a good archetype, right? He's a morally good man. Then Boba Fett is a gray character, right? So his character changes over the course of the show. And of course the cowboy in Westworld, well, I mean, ultimately he's a machine, right? So we can discuss where his morality is, but he is not a good man. So yeah,
He's a good man. He's a machine. We're good.
It's different ways from different perspectives, and I find it fascinating. But it all comes with the Western theme and the cowboy hat.
Absolutely.
Westworld,
100%.
Future World, a couple of my favorite shows. I haven't watched those in forever. I got to go back and
Oh,
watch those.
great. And Spectre the Gun was a really good selection, too.
Yes, I mean, Star
Outland.
Trek went there several times, pretty much in in all its incarnations, it always went back to
Yeah.
some sort of that. I mean, if you have a holodeck, right, like you have on several of the ships, then there's no good reason not to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh, fantastic. And of course, that particular episode that you chose, it resonates with us personally because, we chose it as the catalyst for our fan film, the Stranded Warrior. Like creating that mythology backstory to Captain Martin that is a footnote in that episode and his sacrifice and like you said it's happened twice, right? There's
It did.
that parallel. Captain Martin got stranded and so did Apollo. And so, but why did what happened to Martin then? No, where were the battle stars? Where were the rest of the squadrons? Where were the rest of his colleagues? Whatever happened that he got stranded? Where did the fleet or whatever he was attached to? Obviously he
Why'd
was
they
a
give up on him?
colonial.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got stranded on the planet and he had no way of getting off, right? The Viper, we find out, is intact, and the fuel's still there, and that's how Apollo gets off. But he ended up getting killed. But he came to terms with just being there. But there's always that, where did he come from? I mean, we saw his jacket, right? We saw the patch that was on Martin's, and how did his brother-in-law know that he was a captain? Right? Did he just you can't assume that everybody's a captain, or maybe he didn't know the difference between rank, but he called Apollo a captain, so maybe maybe Martin was a captain as well.
Right.
So
Yeah, maybe he recognized the insignia, or just got a lot of information from him. It's one of these situations where you have these at the time when the episode is created or written, there are these throwaway side stories, right? That add to the overall story. They give it a nice backdrop. They make the overall the world lived in, because there's so much that's not being said. And this is a great area for fan fiction. This is a great area for expansion of the universe. So yeah, this was a great story pick of an untold story, and to finally tell it.
oh yeah, absolutely. So just fantastic, from the perspective that you gave us to the choices that you made, like was Outlander, right? We
Outland. Yeah.
Outland, yes, Outland. That's right. I mean, I haven't seen that in so long, but it
Oh, I love
resonated.
that. That's
I
another one of
remember,
my favorites.
yeah. Well, I'm watching it, 2 or 3 times, and how you were saying, like, Sean Connery's his character's been, kind of almost like exiled, and
Stranded. Yeah.
yeah, and now he's got to fight this corruption. He either gives into it or he's got to fight it. And if he fights it, he's basically on his own. So just great selections that you brought together. I
Yeah,
thought it was,
Outland is basically High Noon, right? It
Yeah.
has all the High Noon, even like the train coming in was the gunman. Here it's the shuttle coming in with the corporate hit squad that's supposed to take him out. So it doesn't shy away from it. It's very clear. It's like, this is what inspired us, and we think this could also happen in the 21st or 22nd century. I haven't rewatched it recently, so I've actually forgot which century it's set in, but it's not a too distant future, right? It's more
Yeah.
expanse than Star Trek. It's closer to us, and I think it's incredibly well done.
oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the comments from Rob Baum and Professor Patton are just fantastic. I know Professor Patton says Briner's character in Westworld, the evil version of his Magnificent Seven character. Yeah, I know, right? That always comes up.
Yes.
And Rob mentioned that this episode was this galactic episode. The Lost Warrior is a refashioning of Shane. So
Right.
there's you can't avoid that Western feel and
some of the screenshots, actually they didn't make it in the. This was one of the briefings. So understand, for the briefings, it's never the challenge is never not to have enough material. It's usually to cut it down so I can present it in a reasonable amount of time. You can have a screenshot from Shane with the protagonist and the boy, and you can have Apollo and Pappas. And it's the same setup down to the way how Apollo stands there. The boy is the same, he even has the same hair color, this bright blonde hair. It's just so similar.
But it works, right? It works perfectly.
It really does. Yeah. And
yeah.
The creators, they cannot really expect you to have watched every single movie out there, but like the really successful ones, the timeless classics, they kind of assume that you know them, have heard about them, and then this gets you immediately into the emotional state that you felt when you watched that movie. And if it's well done, then that's just the right state. So although I'm always about reliability, like you should be able to relate to science fiction, right? There's the out there element, and there's the thing that makes it relatable, and these help to keep the show relatable at every single point, and I think it's brilliantly done.
Oh, absolutely. It's just incredible. So yeah, great job, Bert, as usual. I mean, I'm almost at a loss. I really enjoy it. I'm always impressed by the amount of thought that's gone into your briefing. You capture, the elements that come into the overall theme, whether it be, the show or movie, and the concepts. I know you're putting a lot of effort into this and it shows, and it's done so well. Thank you. And we always look forward to you coming back and giving us the next briefing. But on another note, you also promised I know that you had a successful trip to a writers conference. So maybe you give us just a little bit of insight on that. And you also will come back at the release. I believe you're working on another project. So please tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, so one of those I had mentioned initially, which kicked this off. So I was on the Nebula conference once a year, is where the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, it's basically their Oscar, right? They give out the grand prize for best novels, novellas, novelettes, and so on. And I had the honor to be a panelist during the conference, and it's just an amazing event. The only people there are science fiction writers, right, and fantasy writers, and it's a real peer fest, if you will, and you learn so many new things. You meet so many new people, and you meet a couple of humblingly successful writers. We're like, wow, I wish I'd be there one day. And it's very inspiring. It's a great event. I loved it. And yeah, my own book series continues. So the fourth part is now a web novel. It's serialized, so I'm going from week to week. I didn't want to have this huge gap in between books because I'm kind of slow. It takes me a year to write a new one, and so I want to constantly offer something to the fans. And so I'll do this now. I'll also have every week is the equivalent of the audio narration is on YouTube. So you basically have if you subscribe to the playlist, you have a free audiobook.
Cool. And so that's now, right? As we speak, that's out now?
Yep, that's out right now. I just wrote the 10th scene today. 8 are available through my website, 7 on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
7 episodes.
So, oh man, I apologize. I lost track of this. Are you releasing them then by chapters? Is that what you're doing?
Yes. Yeah. It's truly episodical. So it kind of goes back to like most classic science fiction novels were actually initially serials. And now the industry kind of goes full circle on it. So there are lots of platforms that allow you to do that. And you find basically what it does for me is it allows me to find new readers outside of the traditional channels, and actually also introduce younger readers, 18 to 25, to what I consider material that's written. Of course, not my books are not classic. They're new, they're a couple of years old, but they're written in a fashion that pays homage to the classics. I want the readers to feel the same way like I did when I picked up Asimov when I was 15, or Herbert when I read Dune for the first time, like this feeling of, wow, this is really good. I want to have them the feeling of scale and adventure and wonder. So I have to live up to big shoes there, but I'm doing my best.
And you're doing a great job. So I personally have read your work and I am enthralled with it. So keep it up. And like I said, we wanna stay up to date. So please, if you have the book covers or anything related, let's share that. Let's put that up. Don't hold that back. Thank you. Bert, here is to you. Your continued success. Thank you so much for coming on, and cheers.
Cheers, guys. Cheers,
Super
Fleet.
cheers.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Wow. So cool. So cool. I love it.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
I can't
we
wait
are
to-
lucky.
I gotta go
We
back
are
and
lucky to
rewatch
have
the,
Bert.
I gotta go back and rewatch some movies now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you, Bert. Oh wow. All right. So I mean, I've had the privilege of actually listening to Bert give his battle briefing as a it was just I was driving, and it was one of the shows that I couldn't make, and I was just listening to it, and it was just as good just listening to what he was presenting. But when you get to see the visuals, it's obviously made specifically for that, but it works even as a podcast. And so I'm really a big fan of the work that he does.
Oh yeah,
And,
it's amazing.
It is. It's really,
we
really
could-
cool.
We could sit down and I know if Bert and you and me got together, we would be sitting down over dinner for till breakfast.
Hours. For sure. So, look, we have John One with us this week, and he's going to give us his own media briefing. And so I'm really anxious to hear what he has to say, because he's got, again, I got to help him put it in digital format, so I got to see some of this, and there's some really cool stuff in there, and I want to hear his opinion, because I'm going to ask him a couple of things about his presentation. But yeah, let's bring him on.
Give me a second.
Sure.
John's a little off to the side. I'm fixing him.
Okay, you got to fix it.
Don't move, John. Don't move.
Don't move, John. You stay right there.
There we go.
There you go. John, how are you?
It's good to be back.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for doing what you do, John. Really appreciate it. You put together a nice deck, so I'm kind of curious to see, what you have to say, and then maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. The special guest that you got for us is in the green room, so
Which is
yeah,
fun.
so we'll have
Very cool guy.
yeah, we'll have Dave on, and so yeah, tell us what you got, man.
All right. Well, summer's here now, so we got some good stuff on our way coming up. I look forward to. First up in summer movies, Jurassic World Rebirth, coming in July 2nd. That's the next story in Jurassic World. So this time, Scarlett Johansson will lead a group of operatives to an island research facility where they had the original Jurassic World, and they're going to try to gather some DNA to help save lives. But of course, the animals will eat them and all that stuff. So see who survives. But there's some pretty cool dinosaurs in there, and there's a new dinosaur that'll eat people. So me and my
So
son will enjoy watching.
the CG's gotten so much better since the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely yeah. This is like right out of like one of the books where the Tyrannosaurus is going after the raft. They say it was right out of the book, so it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to enjoy it. It's good just to get away and just see a summer movie where we can. It's been a long time. And that's coming out. And the man from Krypton will soon don his cape, for the much-hyped James Gunn Superman out July 11th. And I'm seeing a lot of new clips. I'm seeing a lot of new clips, different angles of the movie. I think it's going to be a good movie. I mean, there's one clip out now where you see Superman kick down a door in Lex Luthor's office. And he's like, "Where's the dog?" He's like, "From Crypto." He's like, "I know what you're talking about." It's kind of funny. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good. Mr. Terrific's in it. Guy Gardner was Guy Gardner for Green Lantern. So he's going to be later on in Peacemaker. He's going to make a scene in Peacemaker along with Hawkman. So Peacemaker's coming out in August. So that's another series to look forward to. That's another series coming out. So, I did have my doubts, but seeing the clips and trailers, I have hope this will be a smash, and hopefully it will be. So we're looking at a pretty good movie this year. So also coming to HBO Max on July 4th, the movie Sinners, about two brothers who return from Chicago, back down to the South. And this movie is a bold genre blending spectacle, part gangster saga, part vampire thriller with a great cast. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be HBO Max. If you didn't see it in the theaters, check it on HBO. And I enjoyed it. I'll see it again. And another long wait, 5 years exactly, for fans of Charlize Theron is back with her Old Guard team, Old Guard 2. So it's going to be, see what's going to happen. I know it was a cliffhanger at the end, if you guys seen it or not. And so that's going to be pretty good. So we'll have a Booker. Booker was cast out for a year, and he met out with some of the bad guy. So hopefully we'll see some action, some good shows. That's going to be out on July 2nd next week on Netflix. So I'll watch it again. So, Charlize Theron, she's always good. So it's good action. And let's see. Ooh, God, I can't remember my handwriting. Sandman will also return to Netflix for a second and sadly final season. So there'll be a lot of content being crammed into it, the first 11 episodes. Also, there'll be a spin-off episode too. So the season will also cover some of the one-shot issues from the comic. People that have seen the scenes, the series, they'll understand. And this is going to be the same thing. So I thought it was pretty good. I just finished up Sandman actually last month. So I'm looking for season 2 now too. So that's going to be good. And another season, should have been only a season. Season 1, Squid Games 3 will be airing Netflix on June 27th, tomorrow. After season 2's gut-wrenching cliffhanger, just wipe them out. That's all. Just take the money for yourself, guy, and just wipe them all out. End it, please. Come on, really? How much more can you do? I just, I give up. Beep. I'll take the money for myself. Forget about it. You had your chance. 3 times enough, kid. But whatever. People like it. So that's gonna be out tomorrow on Netflix. And we'll see how the story ends. How's the story going to end? He wins. He kills the bad guy. He takes the money for himself. Great plot twist. So look forward to it. I'll have to drink a lot of beer before I watch that. And let's see. We'll see how the story ends. Well, I've been hearing a lot about this Star Wars is developing a horror movie. Does the phrase "jumping the shark" mean anything? A horror movie, Star Wars horror movie? All right. Well, okay. Why not? We'll see. I'd save it for like a series based on the Empire. It's about time we have an Empire side story. But, I'll keep holding my breath. That's in the development now. Hopefully we'll find out the next year. If it jumps out, there's going to be a stormtrooper killing people, or, I don't see it, but whatever. I'm still getting over Acolyte. Yeah. Ewok, Jar Jar Binks people go crazy and start killing people. Jar
Jar Binks.
That's a horror.
All right.
I like this one already.
I'm still getting over the Acolyte scene with the metal detector. It just really bothers me. Mediocre man knows what I mean. And exciting news in the Highlander reboot movie. Russell Crowe will be starring opposite Henry Cavill. But who will he be playing? Why don't you guys let me know in the comments? Who do you think he's going to play? Is he going to play Ramirez or Kurgan? I'd probably say Ramirez, but who knows? What do you guys think? Mad Cave keeps coming out with some awesome comics. This September, be on the lookout for The Phantom. Oh, wait. Land of the Lost. Netflix is working on a new series to bring to the screen, like Lost in Space, called Land of the Lost. Looks pretty good. It's in development now. Hopefully next year we'll see the series. So they're bringing some good shows back. So why not? I want to see some good stuff. And Man Cave is coming out in September with Phantom Magazine, the comic. You know, they come out with some really good stuff. They have Dick Tracy. They have a couple other ones. So I'm looking forward to it. So keep that on your calendars. Get the Phantom, and that's good. And very cool company. Here's a series out now on Sci-Fi called Revival. It's based on the Image comic. It's a supernatural horror noir television series, and about a town in Wisconsin where all the dead people are revived. You know, they're not like zombies. They come back, they have their memories, they know what they're doing. It's like they never died. So all of a sudden there was a murder, and the police is investigating. You know, undead and the dead are all subjects. So it's a pretty quirky TV show. It comes on Thursday nights on Sci-Fi. I think it's around like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock tonight. But it's really good. I enjoy it. I think season 3 is now up now too. And if you haven't noticed it, on Disney Plus, there is a new series called Ironheart, based on the comic as well. And you know, 3-year wait, and finally did it now after 3-year wait. So I had to wait 3 years for this to come out, but they finally did it, so it's out. And it's based on Riri Williams from Wakanda Forever returns to Chicago and builds an Iron Man suit, and she tries to help people, and then bad guys come and try to get it, and it's just like the comic. So it looks pretty good. I enjoy it. Check it out. And that's it. And that's all for me. Next week, Friday is going to be New Jersey Comic Con. The following week is going to be Eternal Con and Hofstra, and the third week is going to be Long Island Minicon. So IFB will be there. We're representing. It's a very good cause, and if you guys can donate or whatever you can to send help, we'd appreciate it. It's a very good cause. It's very it was very, very, very humbling when I went there last year. So I'm looking forward to going again.
Excellent.
Yeah, don't donate because I don't want to eat this stuff.
Well, look, a couple of things that I wanted to ask you about. So, Superman movie, you're going to movies or are you going to wait?
I'm going to go see it.
Okay, so am I. Sandman, I got a special pre-screening invitation. So I'm rewatching the show again, and it's as good the second time now as the first. It's really, really good. So I'm gonna RSVP, and I'll get to see the first episode of the next season before it's released, and then that special that you said, what is it, spin-off?
Yeah, they said it was a spin-off. I don't know what it is. Maybe a different character.
Yeah, so I'll if I sign up, they'll give me access to that as well. So I think I'm gonna probably sign up as soon as IFB is over tonight, so that I can watch it, because it's good. It's good. So hopefully they did as good a job on second season they did the first one, because it's really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much, and thank you for sending up and putting up pictures. You went on a trip, and you went to some of the comic book places. You put some stuff up. Really appreciate that. Keep up the good work, and looking forward to seeing you at the Minicon, and you'll be back on IFB soon enough. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys.
Here's to you, buddy. Excellent. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Tipsy, are you tipsy yet?
No.
It's good beer.
Okay, I know. I had to ask anyway. But all right, so listen up. I think you've set up our special guest. David Dickson is a Star Wars super collector, and it's cool because he's actually going to be live on IFB with us, first time ever, and he's in like his museum of collectibles, and it's really, really cool. Envious, right? Envious, super envy, because it's it's the way you want to be able to display all your
why
stuff.
don't we show and start to talk?
Well, why not? Welcome, Dave. Welcome to IFB, man. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Great. I have a couple of things that I want to share with you. I mean, you've seen probably all of them. I know that you have a special place for the cards, right? The Star Wars collectible cards, but you also collect other Star Wars stuff.
I do. Yeah, I'm a one of the I guess super collectors, and I know that guy. Nice.
So this is
That's old school.
yeah, it's a washcloth that my brother-in-law gave me as a gift. He saw this at a antique store out in
Yeah.
California, and he picked it up for me. So I was like,
I-
"Oh, that's so
I picture
cool."
those and being in the like the really small package, like dehydrated and squished down.
No,
Right.
no, not back in the day. No way, man. This is part of like a set of some sort. So I
That looks
thought
great.
was
It's in
cool.
good shape too.
So I bust this out. I visited my folks a few weeks ago, and I found some of my old stuff, and you'll get a kick out of these, Dave. Check this out.
Oh, yep.
Wax wrapper.
Yep.
That from original Star Wars. Mine, right? So this is something that I picked up at one of the one of the stores around in New York. There is something called Optimo, and so I remember going to the store and getting these. These are mine. I didn't buy these on eBay. These
Very
are
nice.
yeah, I know you'd appreciate those. And
Very
then
nice.
before you get all up in, I mean, you are a master super collector, but I have something that was given to me as a gift by my cousin George. And
Bubble
it
wrap.
is-
Everybody needs bubble wrap.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
amazing. Pop some of those, would you?
It's better than that because get this.
Oh, wow. Check that out.
This is a 501st Legion exclusive watch, and the actual face inside it, right, has sand from it's. I'm not sure if it's sand from Death Valley in California or Tunisia, one of the
Okay.
two from where they actually filmed it. So
So it's
That's-
not, as,
been
it's
worn,
not as worth it
right?
much because it doesn't have it from Tatooine or something. So
Right?
Okay. I go first. Not personalized. There's not a lot of these that were made, but I thought I'd show this off today since Dave is here, and I know
That's
you'd
very
appreciate
cool.
it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
So, Dave, you got to tell us. I mean, you do podcasts. You're on social media. You're a super collector. You gotta tell us. Where did this start, and walk us through your world of collecting.
Well, I can do that. There's a 38 and a half hour version, or there's a much
Well
shorter
said, well
version.
said.
let's do 37. 37. You got it.
37. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no. So, well, number one, I give you some of my age here. I too was buying Series 1 packs when they came out, right, in 1977. I was all about 4 years old, and we had we called it a convenience store, and we could bike/walk there from the house. And back then, when you were 4, that's perfectly acceptable behavior to have the kid just walk off to a convenience store. But yeah, so it started out with just me burning my 35 cents, sometimes 50 cents allowance every week on 2 or 3 packs of Star Wars cards. And, I was hooked. And one of the craziest things that I've discovered later in life is how careful I was even when I was 4 with the cards. I didn't put them in my bicycle spokes or anything. Actually, I was very careful with them. I boxed them, very carefully and all that. And of course, nowadays we can appreciate that looking back, right? So, but yeah, it all started, way back when, just collecting cards. And then of course, the figures came for Christmas. And I'll be honest with you, we were not exactly the rich family on the street. So, getting 2 or 3 Star Wars figures for me was just, heaven, right? That feeling. So,
Oh yeah.
and then, yeah, it was just, one thing after another. And I got into, back then there weren't Star Wars Lego. There was the space Lego, right? We all remember the
Got those.
classic space. And, of course I had to have all of that. So that's where I started dumping all my money into classic space and dreaming that it was Star Wars. And we had to wait till 2000 or 1999, I guess, for Star Wars Lego to come out. But, just one thing led to another. And then, I like to joke that, once I went off to school, college and all that, I became an adult, quote. I was too cool for Star Wars for about, 10, 12, 15 years. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not too cool for Star Wars. And I was just right back in it. I rediscovered Star Wars cards in 2015 with my son. And so when Force Awakens came out, and I don't know how to do anything small, so I was all in, and I started buying, cases of cards and whole nine yards, and it's just been a very slippery slope from there. And fast forward to 2025, and I've got a room full of Star Wars stuff, but a lot of people do, right? I'm just another guy who loves Star Wars.
So, Dave, I know that for the cards, there's a way to have them graded. Do you grade? You do that as well?
I do every month. Yeah, I send off. Believe it or not, I do have a budget. I am crazy, but I have a budget. So every month I send off the same number of cards and go through that. And I do love grading. I'm not so much necessarily a seller. I do sell some cards, but we could have a whole string of videos on flipping cards and all that and get into that mess. But I'm more of a consumer collector, and I love the challenge of trying to get it's called a perfect gem, which is a 10. To be, you use PSA or SGC or a reputable grading company. If you get a 10, it's called Gem Mint. It's the best, right? And so one of my side excitements is trying to grade cards to get a 10. I love having full sets of 10. So I'll buy the same card over and over again just to grade a bunch of them with the hope that we get a 10 and then rinse and repeat for the next card in the series, right?
So, Dave, do you trade at all?
I do a little bit. I do wish, trading, it seems, ironically, with social media and the internet and all that, it's ironic that trading seems to be less. You'd think that now with, everybody connected, it'd be easier to trade, but for whatever reason, and I find this with, a lot of different cards, whether it's Pokemon or Star Wars, me and my son are big Pokemon fans too. So,
okay.
But, really, it just seems like everybody's more into buying and selling, taking the cash and then going to buying something else. So I wish there was more trading. I'd be interested in trading. I wish there was a digital app for trading real physical cards that was affordable and had all the features that a collector would want to have. I haven't really found an app that's really that great yet, but unfortunately, there's not as much trading as you would expect in this business.
Yeah, that's a shame. So, were you able? Did you do like the General Mills cards? Is that part of like going back in time? Like I remember being able to get the cereals. And like it was like, well, if you're buying a box of cereal, you're going to eat that box of cereal.
Yeah.
So by the time you finish that box of cereal, I don't know how many cards could you get? Because like even as a kid, you can't eat a lot of, how much cereal you'd eat. So
Right.
I only got like 2 or 3 cards, and then that's it. They're gone. But I worked hard, and eventually I put together a set, and it's a rough set. I just wanted to have the whole thing. I didn't care, whether they were mint, near mint, the grade. I got the set, and it's hanging in my office. And
That's awesome.
when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's, it's my
Yeah.
childhood.
Heck yeah.
Do you do that?
Well,
Did you do that?
well, so for me, it was more the Wonder Bread, right? Because there was a Wonder
yeah.
Bread set too, and
Heck yeah.
and then also the Burger King Star Wars glasses, literally the glass ones that came out, and of course back then, your trading vicinity was real, or your trading options were really the folks in your immediate vicinity, your friends down the street, and so it's interesting you said you picked up your whole set of General Mills. That must have taken some work.
Well, yeah. As a matter
yeah.
of fact, I had one left of my original, and then like over the years, every once in a while, one time I bought a lot of cards, and there was another one in it, and so there was my second one, and then I forget, there might have been one other. Oh, I went to a show. I went to 2 shows. Went to one show, it was a great show, not a card show. Guy had a couple of them just laying around, picked up a couple more. And then Tipsy and we went to the non-sports card show out in Pennsylvania. And so there was a dealer there, a couple of dealers. I hit a couple of guys, 3 guys actually, so I could just put together a reasonably priced set. And that's how I ended up putting it together. So not so much a cheat, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, that's exciting. Yeah, and to your point, it kind of gives you that reflection of the past when that feel good feeling when you were a kid or picking up that collection or whatever it was. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to replicate that. Being a kid again. As an adult,
Oh
even though we
yeah.
try. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
So what's some of the stuff that you're like currently involved in collecting? Like
yeah.
the stuff now.
Yeah, so number one, I'm a huge sketch card fan, and so that's one of the things that got me back into Star Wars. And I don't know if you're familiar with them, but modern Star Wars card sets, unlike the '70s, Star Wars card sets, typically, not always, but if you buy a hobby box, and there's usually, we call it 8 to 12 hobby boxes in a full case that's boxed, but there's a hobby box, and a hobby box has, 18 packs of cards in it. There's usually a sketch in there, or at least one per case, if not one per box. And these sketches are card size, and they're original one of one artwork from a Topps artist, right? So Topps hires these artists to sketch all these cards, and they do a ton of cards per every release, and then they insert them randomly into the packs. But I was just blown away when I started pulling these sketch cards in 2015, and I'm like, where have I been? How have I missed out on this? Because I love art too. So I love sketch cards. I have hundreds. Off to the right here, I have probably my best ones on this entire wall. But so I'm always looking for sketch cards. But then behind me, I just completed a master set. I don't know if you heard about the Galaxy 2021 set. It was a pretty famous modern Star Wars card set that was made big during COVID. There were some deals that occurred that really started the whole price markup for Star Wars cards. And this set is generally considered the catalyst, for the rise in Star Wars cards for during COVID. And anyhow, this is called an atomic parallel, and it's got like a cracked ice look. I'll get a card out. But I have all 100 of.
Make sure you disable the alarm before you open the door there.
I know, right? I got to be careful. I'd be lying if I told you I'd never knocked down any of my cards before. But I don't know if you can see this pattern. Yeah, you can see the reflections, like
Oh
the.
wow.
So this is the Yoda card. There's 100 different cards. They're all done by an artist. These are prints. These aren't one of ones. And again, you can see the grade up here. This is a 10, so it's a perfect grade. And this is done by SGC. And there were 100 different ones of this atomic set, and I have all 100 in a gem. It's the only set in the universe of SGC full atomic grade 10. It doesn't exist anywhere else except for right behind me. So they're all 100 of those are in my case, and I just finished this set like a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And the very hardest card to gem and one of the most expensive cards in that set was the last one that I was able to get graded a 10. And it's been a crazy, crazy race. And now I'm trying to do a few more like that from the same series. So when you ask me what I'm into, I'm trying to harvest different parallels from Galaxy 2021 to complete multiple 100 card fully graded in a 10 gem mint sets. Yeah.
So Dave, if you have this, I can't imagine what your son must have.
Well, his stuff, in full disclosure, his stuff's kind of mixed in, and we joke because one day this is all going to be his stuff, right? But
Like it or not.
yeah, so he's, I know you can't see it, but off on this wall, I've got some displays, and we've got all of our best Pokemon over here. So he's really our Pokemon lead, and then I'm like second position behind him on that, and then I'm probably more of our Star Wars lead, and he's right behind me on that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that one of our associate producers here that just had a segment who's a sci-fi winning author, Bert Oliver Bomer, he actually is a tremendous collector of Star Wars. The only thing is that he kind of focused, the way he explained it to me was he went by era. So when, in 77, when the first film, The New Hope, came out, to Return of the Jedi, he kind of like focused in on those collectibles. And
Okay.
to the best of my knowledge, he's got one of everything and has a full set from,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
is that something that are you into you also collect the toys and the stuff like that, or?
Well, so I do. I don't have anything that cool, and certainly not that much of it. So, certainly I would not walk away from somebody, presenting to me a boxed, toy from 1977, right? I mean, and then having all of them would be insane. But yes, and I got into the figures, the action figures. I don't know if you can see them in the video here, but I have some, they're called Sideshow premium format figures here, and I have some over here on the other wall too. So I'm definitely all into the figures. I've got a ton of Star Wars Lego. I'm a huge Lego fan. I
Wow.
mentioned that before. And I've actually got this is probably worth showing you. I've got a full-size Lego R2, if that sounds interesting at all. But here, let
That's
me show you that.
cool.
Yeah, let me pop this around real quick and see if you can see him. There he is. I don't know if you can see him very well.
Wow. Did you build them?
I did. He's the only one out there, and we're working with a couple of guys overseas right now to try to work on the instructions so that we can turn around and sell it, or sell the instructions and let other folks also build it. But there's over 33,000 individual Lego in that R2. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. So what does it take financially to build that R2D2?
Say again. I'm sorry. My volume cut out.
So what does it take financially to actually build that R2?
Yeah. So all in, I finished it during COVID. I started in 2010. So that was an 11-year build, and my son was the one that held me accountable to finally get it done during COVID. But all in, it was about 9,000. But that includes gears, Lego gears. I do have some. The only thing that's not Lego in it are some custom movie lights that came from. If you've heard of the R2 Builders Club before,
Yes.
they're a national club that builds R2D2. So
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to enlist somebody to help me build the actual R2 lights. So they're in the dome, but all the rest of it's Lego. And now it would cost a good bit over 9,000 to build, and that's been one of the slowest things slowing us down for getting the instructions out there, because me and the builders have to build another unit, right? To test it, to make sure that it can be built by others. And they've improved the design. They helped out with the engineering, did some engineering improvements. So it's expensive, but you guys know, like doing anything, hobby related that you're
Yep.
totally all into can get pricey quick, right?
Oh, heck yeah. Um, Mediocre Modeler wants to know, are you chasing a particular Star Wars card?
Oh, I was until a couple of weeks ago when I completed this set, but no, I don't. Not right now. I mean, there's definitely a few out there that I'm searching for to help complete the set, but if I can't really put my finger on it on any one like I could this one from 2 weeks ago that is just completely blocking me. The one from 2 weeks ago, I had to go find a card that's rare, number one, and then there's only one other one in existence that's graded 10, and now I have the second one in existence graded 10. So it was an extremely hard card to find, number one, expensive card, and then to get it in a 10 is crazy. So right now I'm good to go, but I'm sure that will change as I get further along in my other chases.
Of course. I got to ask you about the autograph cards.
Yeah.
So that's part of your world as well.
Yeah, in fact, I have a very rare one. Let me grab it.
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
here we are.
this is one of the. I mean, everybody has an opinion, but most people would argue this is a top 10 auto to have. It's Frank Oz.
Ooh.
I don't know if you
Okay.
can see that really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful card. It's an unusual card. It's a wide vision card. but it's you know, I'd say most people would agree it's top 10, if not top 15, top 20 card out there. It's fairly expensive. It has gone down a little bit in the last couple of years, but it's still, one of the big chase cards. I have a Peter Mayhew, of course, Chewbacca, and then I have a handful of Carrie Fisher autographed cards, which are really cool.
Nice.
So,
Oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Dave, let's talk a little bit about, I mean, there's we're all collectors of one kind or another. Um, I'm gonna ask you a tough question, and that's insurance. Is the collection insured? Is it, I mean, on your level, I would say, the easy answer is yes, of course. But if, for other collectors, is something like that, and is insurance like part of this or not?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked the second question. So, I cannot say enough about making sure that if you've got a pricey collection like your friend that has the vintage, Star Wars toys, or anything that adds up in cost, either get it individually insured, or get a rider on your homeowners, your homeowners policy, and take pictures of everything. And that's another way to potentially get it done based off of your insurance carrier. But yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine anybody who's got a collection that either has value to them or real cash value, that if something happened to it, that would just be horrible. So you definitely want to look into insurance if you can.
Cool. And then what about I mean, you have your stuff on display, and I found out that having my autograph cards on display was a mistake. So I had them
Okay.
up on the wall, had them up for like 5 years, and I realized I was looking at someone that had pictures online, and I was missing a couple, and I was thinking, do I want to invest? And I realized, oh my God, my autograph cards are fading. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so
Yeah.
it hurt,
UV.
man.
UV
Yeah.
light is the enemy of cards. So number one, and I've got quite a few different carousels on Instagram that I talk about lighting, and and what to do about it. But I will say this: I'm spoiled in that I have in this room. It's a bedroom that's isolated. I drywalled over the window.
Oh,
So I drywalled over the window. I painted everything. I legitimately there's no UV anywhere in this room. Under the door there's cushion. Like there's the amount of UV that gets in here from sun is very, very low. Now, and I'm using LED lights. And by the way, I have hundreds of LED lights in this room. Yes, UV light can come from LED lights, but it's very, very minimal. And it's very rare that I sit here like today, for a lengthy amount of time with all my lights on. Usually it's, 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time. So you're 100% right in being concerned about UV, but there are things you can do to be careful. And all of my sketch cards are behind 100% UV protected one-touch cases. So they're clear acrylic cases. Hang on, and I'll show you. And by the way, that Yoda I showed you was behind a 100% UV protected. This isn't a sketch, but you can see it's an autograph of Ashley Eckstein. She's Ahsoka,
yeah.
and this is a one-touch case, and this has 100% UV protection, right? So now, would I go outside and set this up in the sun for 24 hours and test it out? Probably not. But in a LED light room where you're isolated, where there's no sun coming in, it's about as best you could do for UV protection.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. I didn't really pay attention till, like I told you, I was looking online, and I was like, holy mackerel, wait a minute. My autograph cards have faded. So I put them away. I put them in, put them in the book. I was like, oh, but
Yeah,
because I
that
love the
hurts.
cards. Yeah, I love them. Like, that it's that's how you connect with, the show. You connect with the card. You connect with the actor. You connect with the, all of that whole, emotional thing that you get with it. And I was like, oh man. And Anyway, so
And you don't notice it each day. It takes like months or years, and you look at it, you're like, wait, it's not as dark as it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like so disappointed. I mean, I took it for granted. I had him in my office here. Office doesn't get, sunlight. There's nothing direct that would come to it. It's just having them out, I mean, paper, but who knows? Some of the paper may not be 100% acid free that they used. I don't know what the ink was. Who the heck knows? So I learned my lesson, but man, it's really cool that you're showing your stuff off to us. We appreciate it as collectors. Would you deviate, or have you, from Star Wars, or are you set in? I mean, you mentioned the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I mean, besides that, this is it, right? There's no, well, I get a little bit of that, or I get a little bit of that, the other one.
Yeah, great question. And so, with the exception of this newer excitement that my son and I have gotten into on Pokemon, right? And so, I am all Star Wars. I'm all in, and part of it too, guys, is, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, but we all have budgets. No matter what our income level is, everybody should set a budget. Doesn't matter how much or how little you make. Everybody should be smart and think about a budget, and I certainly have one too. So, at the end of the day, if I have two collection dollars that I can spend, and then one probably goes to Star Wars and then one goes to Pokemon with my son, right? And that's it, and just keep it simple.
Still there? Oh.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Nobody can hear John because I have him muted. Hang on.
Oh.
There we go. Now you can start over again. I wondered if you guys just stopped talking. I was like, did I lose audio?
No, I mean, you do a lot on Instagram. You show like classes on how to collect, first time starters, where to actually look. Like companies to look up for boxes and stuff. You give a lot of back as a collector too. So
I enjoy it.
So I'm happy about that. The other day I heard a little birdie told me that someone's going to come to Dragon Con, and I'm going to Dragon Con this year. So
good.
Part of my collection. So say I get a card, I want them to sign it, like this card, because she's going to be there. So how would I get that graded? I mean, if she's going to sign it, do I have to take a picture of her signing it, or just take it to GCC?
Yeah, great question. So
I'm holding it very personally because she's going to be there at Dragon Con, and I have a lot of stuff for her to sign.
Yeah, so most grading companies will not grade a card if it's been altered, right? And what is an alteration? It could be autograph, a scratch, or they'll grade it if it has a scratch. But if it's been written on, if it's clearly been altered in any way, so a lot of people will like grade the card and then have them sign on the outside on the grade. And then you can actually encapsulate the grade in something called a slab mag, and a slab mag is 100% UV protected. So you have your card, you get it graded, and then it's PSA or SGC or whatever your choice is. And then once they've written on they've signed on the graded card, you want to protect that so you can put it in something like a slab mag. And that's a good, clean way to do it, and it'll protect your card. It'll allow them to grade it, and you can get the auto, and then you've got the UV protection on it. So,
wow,
that's really cool.
Yeah, never thought of that.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Sure.
Wow, Dave, what do your friends think of you?
Well, my non-Star Wars friends just kind of shake their head and laugh, right? Like, some of my neighbors are oblivious that I even, have this, this kind of thing going on. But obviously, the close, the close group of network friends that I have that are in the hobby, as you guys can appreciate, they appreciate it a little bit more. And I'm in several different chat groups, mainly on Instagram. That's where I do everything. Again, I don't have time, unfortunately, for other social media outlets, although I'd love to do YouTube and that kind of thing. But I've got a lot of groups, and of course, we're all nerds in these groups, every one of us. So, I call it my therapy group. After work, I can always talk geek Star Wars cards with any of these guys, right?
That's awesome. So Dave, there's when you were talking about the grading and getting it done and sending it out. Sometimes the organizations will be at conventions, and you can just go to them right then and there.
Yeah.
Do you go to shows? Do you do that as well? Or is your stuff all, just order and then you get it home and do it at home?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I have a day job, and that's one of the things that I envy about a lot of the friends that I hang out with online. Whether they're able to just use PTO or they themselves are in the car business, so it's part of their marketing and their business income is to go to these shows, right? But I do have a full-time job, and so it does restrict my ability to get to shows. Like there's a national card show in Chicago coming up that's big. It's the biggest one, really, I think, each year, and I don't really get to go to that. But there have been a couple of Star Wars celebrations here in Florida over the last 8 to 10 years. We have MegaCon in Orlando, and then there's a couple of cons here where I am in North Florida. So I will go to those if I can, if I get in the car and get there within a couple of hours, I'll go. But it's hard for me to plan a flight or do whatever to be able to attend the conventions, unfortunately.
All right, so that's okay, cool. So Dave, tell me what, because we speaking, John Juan, myself, and Chris the Tipsy Toaster, we've traveled to a lot of cons, and we've gone all the way from East Coast to West Coast, and sprinkled in between. And what we've found, generally speaking, is there is not a lot of hard representation. It's usually rare, and when you do, sometimes it varies. You can get a guy that's got one heck of a collection of cards that he's selling in different states, conditions, or whatever, or you'll get someone that has just a few cards in the corner. What if anything, or what shows do you recommend for those of us that are into whatever it may be, Star Wars or Galactica or whatever it is? What are the better shows that you can recommend?
Yeah, so for Star Wars, I mean, well, first off, I agree with everything you just said, and generally speaking, the cons, the mega cons, the comic cons, right, which I enjoy. I used to collect comics, as well, so I love comics, but that was years and years and years ago. But you're right, there's very rarely Star Wars cards there, right? I mean, you do see a lot of Pokemon. Pokemon seems to be everywhere, but Star Wars cards are few and far between, and really, you have to get to a Star Wars dedicated con, and of course the biggest ones are Star Wars Celebration, and they're every year or every couple of years. They're often, and they've been in California a few times. The last one was in Japan here a couple months ago, but outside of the Star Wars dedicated cons, you're spot on. It's just super few and far between. There's not a lot of folks that, unfortunately, the number of folks that are pure Star Wars collectors, I could probably count them on my fingers and toes. There are a lot of people that dabble in Star Wars, but it's not as big as sports cards or even some other non-sports cards that are big, like Pokemon and other non-sports.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's basically our experiences, and even when we went to the famous non-sports card show that's in Philly. It's the oldest one that's been around consecutively, and it was great. We had such a good time. I'm a bigger collector of non-sports cards than Tipsy Toaster is, and we still had a great time, and we found a lot of really good deals, but there wasn't a lot of like the in between. I was kind of hoping to find more of an assortment, and I'll tell you, Star Wars was there, but not on a grand scale. I mean, so it's
Pokemon is everywhere now.
Yeah, the Pokemon is everywhere, and that's good, but we want some more. We want more of our stuff, but I'm so happy that you're able to get all that together and do that stuff. We're lucky that we have one of the tops card directors, and he just put out the Star Wars set that came out in Japan. It's got
Okay. The
yeah,
Mayo.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
He was, he comes on our show every I don't know, every quarter or so. He'll come on and he'll tell us something about what's going on, and how he's, him and his team are putting stuff together, and
That's
so,
cool.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
those are beautiful cards. And the fact that they came from Celebration and they came from Celebration in Japan, it makes them that much more special. So
Did you get a set?
I have two boxes of it. Yes,
Ooh.
but I did not go to Japan and get it. But my son and my wife did go over to Japan. And they were
No way.
there. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
wow.
big. He's a big anime geek, so Japan is anime, right?
Of
So,
course, of
but yeah, they
course.
picked up a couple of boxes, and I'm gonna leave them unopened. I just can't. I can't rip into them. They're just too nice.
They're beautiful cards. You've seen them, right? You know what they
Oh,
look
yeah.
like. So we got to see some of them on.
Well,
on
you
the
got two
show.
of them. You can open one now, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
got two, you
true.
can open one. Yeah.
That's true.
Bounty Hard card is just that Bounty Hunter card is just beautiful alone. I don't want anyone to touch it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
That's beautiful
So
card.
Dave, before we wrap up, what is your advice for card collectors? Where can they go to? Like, what's some of the resources that you go to try to get cards?
Yeah. So, well, first off, I'll do a shameless plug. Jump on Star Wars Card Crazy because I do have a lot of careless sales to help new collectors. But just my quick elevator speech would be to check out DA Card World, David Adams Card World. They always have something for sale and at reasonable prices. Now, everything's, unfortunately, Star Wars has gotten expensive, but they still have really good selections typically. You can look at eBay. As far as, how to get started, one thing that I regret doing because it was costly is when I got back in 2015, I bought everything. I went all in and I overpaid for things, and I spent way too much money, and I realized like I gotta channel this energy into something that's more specific. So I'll caveat: do your research. So if you're a new collector, do your research. Figure out what you like. Do you like set chasing? Do you like a specific character? Do you like autographs? Do you like sketches? But figure out what you like and then do your research. Don't be me and spend something like $50 for a $2 card, right? And then rinse and repeat and made a lot of bad purchasing decisions. Do your research. Definitely check out eBay. Jump on social media. Ask people for their opinion. Talk to as many people as you can. Don't feel like you just got to go all in or have the fear of missing out. Do your research and do it right. And set a budget. Definitely set a budget.
Very wise words, Dave. Thank you so much for taking the time out. We would love to have you come back. So if there's something else that's coming up, some other, I don't know, whatever it may be related to, your collecting, that you want to share with us, give us a heads up.
Okay.
We'd love to have you come back. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and showing us your prized possessions. We get it. We love it. Fans like you. So from us to you.
Like 6 minutes today.
Awesome.
They came in, so I got them.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. I could talk to you all anytime you want. It's fun stuff for sure.
Cool. We'll have you back for sure.
All right.
Dave, thanks a lot. Fans fuel the fleet, man.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That was cool. Right? It's
Yeah.
that's
Very cool.
right.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking to a fan that's into stuff and collects like we do, right? It doesn't have to
That's
be,
part of the fandom.
Battlestar or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it, man.
Card collection is unbelievable. He has all those the sketch cards. He has a whole
Yeah.
collection of Rogue
Yeah.
One. He
Yeah,
shows
so
them all.
I was reading.
Very cool guy.
Yeah. You know what? I went on, and I looked at some of the other interviews he had given, and some of the stuff that he's written. And I know that he mentioned the sketch cards. He's really big into the sketch cards,
Yeah.
and just really, really cool stuff. And I get it. So John, tell us about, you picked up some cards. What I mean, what are you going to be doing? You're going to Dragon Con. You were thinking of having them, I guess, autographed.
Yes, yes. And now they told me how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get some graded first. I think came out yesterday was Sarkov was going to be there Thursday and Friday.
Oh,
And another guy, and the other guy that was in the Mandalorian with her. So
okay.
I said, okay, so I'm going to look at the guests and then the CSG now, get them graded. And then I saw those cops he was telling us about, the UV ones.
Yeah,
So I'll just have them,
yeah.
I'll get them and have her sign over it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm going to get a picture of it taking me, with her, and then have a sign up one of her pictures for me. I wanted to say something, so,
No, it'd be cool, man. I
I
didn't know.
I didn't know either. I mean, that just saves the card and the price, and it's graded.
Yeah, you can't.
And,
Like you said, you can't grade it if it's been altered.
Yep,
So
altered.
wow.
So I'm like, wow, he just saved me, throwing away good autograph on the card. Now I can just do it this way.
For sure.
I didn't know that. That was really cool.
Yeah, so I was, see, like my thing, I eventually kind of went towards the pre-autograph cards, the ones that come in a box.
Yeah, like the
right?
Master World
That-
and everything.
yeah, that's what I went to. So like I got all, I have a pretty extensive collection of the Battlestar Galactica, Colonial Warrior set. They had, just about everybody that was alive got to sign the cards, and so that's were the cards I had up, and unfortunately many of them faded.
And he was right when you saw that, and when I saw his on Instagram, I started going at the cards too, and it brings you back as a kid. I played the comics for a long time. The cards you get, but you look at really cards. There's some really beautiful artwork in some of these cards.
Oh yeah, oh
So you're
absolutely.
like, oh my god! And now you got the bug, and like I didn't surprise it hit me so much. So, but yeah, definitely a budget and things you want. So I'm going for
Yeah.
the animated series because they're all alive.
Yeah, no
They're all
kidding.
signing.
So there's
the other one.
there's a couple of sketch cards. I have a sketch card. I have a Star Trek TOS from one of the original sets. I have a sketch card, and I have a Battlestar Galactica sketch card that I got picked up. Again, I got it off of eBay, and it was a bunch of cards, and that was one of them. So I was able to grab it and got the autograph card, got the sketch card, and I know Tipsy and I were collecting the artifacts cards, and they were reproduced Chris Scalf artwork in card form, and they're really rare. It's like one per case or something. So I have a few of those, and if I ever see one that's at a good price, I'll try to pick it up so that I can get that full set of the artifacts. That's what they're called. But yeah, so I mean, I had the focus, John. I had the focus, and my focus is on Battlestar because I just couldn't keep up with all the Star Wars cards. So my thing is trying to get that and Stargate Universe. So Stargate Universe, second season. I have a full set of the first season and autographs, but the second season cards, I'm always, if I see a one or two and a good price, I always pick those up to try to get my full set. So that's
Do you
why
have the Battlestar Galactica cards with like the strips of clothing on them?
Yep, I do.
Yep.
Those, right? Yeah, those are hard to get.
Yep,
Looking
got a
for those
full
myself.
set, man. I got a full set, and
There's,
I have.
but the thing is it's even if you have a full set on those, because I have the different ones on that one.
Yep.
Is there's different fabrics in it as well.
Yes.
So one fabric could be running this way, one fabric.
Yeah.
It's two different
Yeah.
cards.
And there's the Spectre card.
Spectre ones, yeah.
There's the regular one has part of his silver costume.
The other one's
but the
red.
red one,
Yeah.
the red one's the rare one. So I actually have both. But I had to catch up because I know that Tipsy had the red one, and I was like, I gotta get the red one now. So I did. I got one, but I
But
have
there's
a
no
double.
Cylon ones of those, which was kind of
No,
bad.
there's not. It's too bad. But I have a couple of doubles, John, that I can share with you. I got doubles of the actual costumes. I got a couple I can share with you.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, man. Well,
I'm working
thank you.
on a Shatner card too. I got to get a Captain Kirk card because he's going to be there too. So
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
cool.
say I'm working on my thing. I've traveled to get your autograph.
Hi.
And
Have
I'm going
come
to ask him like a
to
pressing
get
question.
your autograph.
John,
Hi,
thanks,
look,
man.
your galaxies.
Well done as usual. Thank you so much. Appreciate
guys.
that. So
Fans feel free.
absolutely, John. Thank you, man. we have Doc McCauley is in the
Hello.
green room, and we
Purple,
he's got
green,
some announcements.
fuchsia.
No, it's a green room. It's a
fuchsia
green room.
green.
No, that's
Fuchsia?
the green room. They still call it the green room.
I don't
It's
know.
not really green anymore, but
It's
you know,
virtually green. You can actually call it whatever you want. Just close your eyes and
Yeah.
think of it.
that's right. So yeah, so Doc McCauley's gonna come on, and we're pulling him away from his important day job, but everybody's got to live on the edge a little bit. So he'll come
Now I
on
get
and
the song on my mind. Living on the
yeah,
edge.
that's the whole idea. Hey, Tipsy, did you hear anything else about Miami Vice?
Just some rumor stuff, but I keep waiting
Rumor
to hear
stuff.
something.
Nah, man, I just want to again bring up that whole Logan's Run. So just totally blown away. We love Logan's Run. You love it a little bit more than I do. And we just posted up the anniversary thing, and
Yep. So
and
yeah,
it just went.
so this
went
week,
bananas.
it was the 49th anniversary of Logan's Run, and
Yeah.
the 50th anniversary of Rollerball.
Yeah, that's another great
So-
one, man.
James
I
Caan, Rollerball. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Did you see the remake? I didn't get to see the last.
I saw the remake. That was horrible.
Yeah. All right.
That was
I
like,
missed
I hate to say it, and I do like the Larson projects, but that was like the remake of Knight Rider.
Oh
just-
yeah.
It was the after school special
Nah,
version
yeah,
of
not
Rollerball.
cool. Not cool. All right. Well, so guys, thank you for tuning in. Of course, we have Doc McCauley. He's going to come on in a second.
He's
but
here. He was here a minute ago. You just
he's
didn't
still on.
pay-
There he
still
is. Hey, Doc.
Hello. Did you see the latest email we get in?
there.
No.
No.
It's an outrage. I got this email from somebody called Commander Adama. I don't know who the hell this guy thinks he is, but the subject matter is inappropriate language in IFB broadcast. Urgent attention required. Dear IFB team, I hope this message finds you well and not mid-transmission with another episode of Life in the Fleet, Cylon 3 and Loving It, or whatever your latest chat show is called this week. This guy doesn't even bloody watch us. It has come to my attention that during last week's live IFB segment, one of your guests used language that's decidedly non-regulation, non-colonial, and non-suitable for broadcast across 220 civilian vessels and several rather impressionable Daggets. Let me be perfectly clear: we are a fleet on the run, hunted by a ruthless enemy who wiped out our worlds. The last thing we need is somebody yelling shit on a fleet-wide transmission when Felder carpet may have sufficed. To assist you in further programming, I've attached a list of Commander-approved colonial profanity for IFB broadcasts and general fleet usage. Please distribute this to your Irish friend. This is racial profiling.
What is it? Is it Felgercarb and Frack?
Well, here we go.
Snit
Here
rat.
we go.
Yeah.
Authorized colonial expressions. Frack, a tried and tested expletive. Flexible across most emotional states and levels of despair. Feldercarb, used liberally when someone is talking complete nonsense. Works especially well during politics segments. Daggett spit, strong, but still within the bounds of decency. Avoid if actual Daggets are present. Great Lords of Cobol, for dramatic emphasis, preferably when revealing something shocking or encountering unexpected Cylons in the pantry. Cluster frack, borderline but acceptable when describing a fuel line explosion or council meeting. Let us remember that you, IFB, remain at the heart of civilian morale, however misguided that heart may occasionally be. If you must air Fleet Love Triangle Viper Pilot Edition, at least ensure it doesn't teach children words that will make their teachers faint in their learning chambers. One final note. I swear this is racial profiling. If the Irish guest who used the unregulated profanity is found, I would appreciate it if you quietly redirected them to maintenance deck 3 above the Galactica. We have a great need for volunteers wanting to scrub launch tubes by hand. With patience, vigilance, and far fewer uncensored expressions, Commander Adama, Battlestar Galactica, Protector of the Last Battlestar, and Guardian of Decency and Public Broadcasting. So I was the only one that got this. So I've been targeted.
I don't.
I just have
haven't
to
checked
say,
Frack.
Yes,
I
because
think
because
I think
real
you-
men use frack in real life conversations.
you're the only one that got it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
I got that.
Cylons lured me into their deception once. Never again.
never.
So this is the start of we're going to bookend this. So this is one official sort of Battlestar Galactica announcement. This is what we're starting this segment with, and at the end we have a rather exciting other and far more relevant Battlestar Galactica.
Everyone's entitled to a little confusion in their lives. I practically thrive on it.
So where do you want to start, guys? Where do you want to start?
Oh well, let's begin. Since that was a great opening, man. You couldn't have done that even if you scripted it. That was excellent.
Well, between us, I did. But,
it was AI. It was AI. The Cylons sent that.
So we've been working behind the scenes, and we've had some very fruitful outcomes, and we want to make sure that we get to share that with all of the fans. And so let's begin with the news on the book. So everyone knows we've announced this previously. Crystal Lake is our publisher for a Galactica homage book that we're going to be putting out, and there's a new development. Everybody knows that Lorette Spang Cassiopeia is involved in the either the intro or the forward of the book as it stands right now, and then of course yourself and myself and Chris the Tipsy Toaster are donating articles to this, as well as a couple of other subject matter experts that have volunteered to write some awesome articles. We don't have the title. We have a working title, so we can't divulge that yet. The publisher will let us know once that's solidified. But there is a development, and I think that's what we should start with.
You want to start with that? I was going to end with that. I was going to tease with that and then end with that.
You want to tease with that? We can. Okay. So the tease
end with
is out.
that. It's a big. We have to escalate, and then we get the
crescendo.
We don't do the Oreo sandwich thing then, right?
Everybody knows you've got to tweak the nipple first before you get the grand prize. Okay, so let's tweak the nipples first.
It's okay. So we have.
I'm waiting for another email to come in now.
Oh yeah. From Commander Kane.
Yeah. So we want to start with the Doctor Who book. If
yes,
Tipsy's
please.
got that. So nobody's seen this yet. There's going to be an announcement tomorrow. But since in the UK, tomorrow is now today. Let's do it. It's not that one.
No, I know. I hang on.
It's all right. It's all right.
You sent me like 500 pictures.
I did send you 500 pictures.
Is it the Dalek book?
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to show the Dalek cover. I got this today. It's a special wraparound cover, and it's going to be hardbacked. And there it is, there in all its glory. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
So this is the first of several Doctor.
Exterminate. It's beautiful.
Yeah. This is the first of several sort of linked Doctor Who products that are coming out for me this year. One of them's actually a game as well. So we're starting with this one. So this book's all about the Daleks, no Doctor. This is all about.
I actually might get that one then.
The evil of the Daleks, and this cover was done by Mark Worgan. It's absolutely beautiful. There's going to be a couple of press releases about it tomorrow, but I thought, well, why not? We'll start. We'll start the segment with this and let everybody see what it is. It's really beautiful.
It is. It's really nice.
You know.
So what is that? In the left-hand corner is that's the Union Jack? What is that?
Bring it up on screen again there, Tipsy. Bring it up onto my screen because I'm trying to remember what it is now because I only got this today. I only got it a couple of hours ago.
I don't know if it's a gas mask.
Let me see. Oh, it is. It's a robo. See that Scarrow. So that's actually one of the That's one of the Khalids. It's a skull of a Khalid.
Okay.
So It is. This is not for the faint of heart. Anybody who reads my stuff, they know it's going to be particularly dark. The Terry Nation estate wanted the Daleks to come back darker and in a more visceral tone, so I obliged. So this is the Daleks and Davros in their full genocidal form, with lots of biological warfare, nuclear holocaust, all sorts of things.
Wow.
Now we've two special stories that I co-wrote with Davros himself, Terry Malloy, and Mr. John Payne, who's the the world's greatest expert in the Daleks. He was actually, well, we had John on a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
He was actually best friends with Terry Nation, who created the Daleks. The BBC don't own the Daleks. It's the Terry Nation estate that own the Daleks. So, John has been an advisor and a great friend to me, as well as a mentor. I've written many Dalek stories with him, and he has one of these stories in here as well.
Oh, we got a question. Colin,
yes.
Thanks for joining us. Colin wants to know, that's the Thal's Doom or the Khalid Dome or something new? Thal's Dome
that's
or
the
Khalid Dome?
That's actually the Thal's Dome. Well spotted. That's the Thal's Dome that ends up getting blown to bits in Genesis of the Daleks. So we do have a couple of Time Lords in there. We do make reference to the Time War and things like that. But anyway, that's the cover. I have to be careful I don't say too much, because there is a press release coming out tomorrow, and I don't want to steal the publisher and the editor's thunder.
Yeah.
We've got some beautiful artwork by Charles Waples, which is very reminiscent of the old Target books, and fantastically expressive, as well as quite violent images. So thanks to Charles. So yeah, that's the first bit of news. And then the second one, I suppose we could go back. We can look at some of the images from the kids' book that I've done with Claudia. So this is coming out very soon. So here's some of the lovely images. So this is a book that Claudia and I had written in January. This actually came from Claudia when she had COVID. She had this sort of fever dream about these animals and a Muller tree, and it's a nice little children's book, which is all about ecology and looking after the environment, and also the adventures of these little creatures. And I absolutely adore this artwork. It's absolutely beautiful.
It is. It really
very
is.
Expressive, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a cover soon. We agreed the image for the cover, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to show you that.
Cool.
And exciting developments about this one is that it's not just a book; it's going to be a concert as well. So it's going to be a bit like Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah.
So we have
wow,
a Grammy award-winning composer. He's working on this at the minute, and Claudia is going to be on stage doing the voices of the animals and stuff. So it's a bit like Peter and the Wolf. So more news on that in the next year, I think. Actually, it'll probably take a year or a bit for that to come out. And then this is the back cover of Aliens at the Alien Crashland, Aliens at the Backyard Barbecue. So this is the game book. Do you remember the Choose Your Own Adventure game books?
Yep.
Well, this is coming out on the 1st of August. So that's the front and the back cover. All artwork is by Cy Chinook, who has worked on Dark Legacies, and he's done a fantastic style here for kids. So this is for kids from the ages of 6 to 10. This is my attempt at trying to get kids to read science fiction and to basically start reading again. So gamification of books. I will have an adult fantasy game book series out next year as well, but we're starting with the kids. So I've some beautifully expressive pieces of artwork there by Cy Chinook.
Oh yeah, very cool.
And then I had a little experience on stage.
Oh yeah,
weekend. So
that's right.
I was on stage because I write Dungeons and Dragons. I was on stage with Dungeons and Dragons Live with, if anybody knows Mark Meir, he's the actor. He was Commander Shepard in Mass Effect. He's worked on Baldur's Gate games as voice actor. He's quite a prolific voice actor in the world of gaming and indie films. And he was the dungeon master. You can sort of see him off to the side there. And Mark's a good friend of mine, and we're working on another project together. But this was a lot of fun. This is the first time I've ever been on stage, so I had a great time there with everybody in costume. So the whole idea was that there's two adventuring parties, and they go off into one to the north side of the dungeon, the other to the south side, and Mark crafts the story as they go about. You know, they're all professional actors, and they play out story in front of the audience. And then there's a little screen up there that you can just about see above my head. And then there's CGI, so there's a random dice roll, and then these monsters appear, and Mark embodies the monster. And all sorts of fun things actually happen. It was very, very good, very enjoyable. My wife went with me, and she's not a Dungeons and Dragons fan at all. She doesn't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, but she really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So that was a fun experience.
Fantastic. What are you not doing? It should be the question. You should come onto the show and tell us what it is that you're not doing. Because
I can tell you what he's not doing: sleeping.
Well, I'm actually genuinely not sleeping tonight. I'm on the coffee tonight. I'm not on the beers. So, you know, Thursday night is usually whenever I kick back with friends. I allow myself half a day. So usually, like Thursday afternoon, I'll go out with some musician friends, you know, actors, people that I know, and I'll have a couple of beers. Then I'll come on IFB, have a couple more beers, and then head off to bed. But unfortunately, or actually, to be fair, fortunately, I've got a lot of video game work on at the minute, and I'm going to be able to talk about all of that stuff come the winter time. Lots of big name video games I'm working on, massive franchises that I'm very lucky to be getting my name on, and it's a lot of work. Plus, Dune Awakening just came out. If you're a Dune fan, that video game just hit. It's pretty good survival MMO. I've played about 5-10 minutes of it. And if you're a Warhammer fan, Darktide is one of my favorite sort of co-op games. Extremely violent and bloody first-person shoot 'em up. But you also get to twat. I'm not even sure if that's a word I'm allowed to use, but you get to twat the mutants in the head, all various things. They've just brought out DLC where you play as an Adeptus Arbitus character,
cool.
Basically Judge Dredd. You've got these are like the Judge Dredd of the universe, right? So they just brought that out. So I have that, and then you can command your like a cybernetically engineered hound. So it's just come out. So I think interspersed with some of the coding stuff, I'll probably be going backwards and forwards and playing that and chugging lots of coffee, and then I've got a very long weekend because it's Canada Day on Tuesday, so I'm going to just basically rest.
Okay.
Rest this weekend.
Very good. See, so there will be some rest. Deg's in the house. So is Mr. George Zoulos, who's Captain Martin. George Giacomis also with us. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and dropping in. Deg, how are you? Glad you could make it with us. We're here with Doc McCauley. I also will then interject that Dr. McCauley and I will be jurors at the Brooklyn Science Fiction Film Festival.
I'm very excited about this.
So, yep, that's coming up later in the year.
Yeah.
So in the fall, proper. So we will be judging. Probably I did it last year, so it's probably around 14 different films. Short. Typically, you'll get like from like the micro short all the way to one feature, and it's 14. And then if you get those done, you can then screen other ones as well or judge other ones. So that's so we'll be on the panel for that, which is I'm kind of excited to see how that plays. Of course, the Stranded Warrior is in competition, so they've made adjustments to make sure that both Doc McCauley and myself will not be interacting or judging, of course, the Stranded Warrior. We're doing all the other hundreds of other films that have been submitted and then ultimately selected and the like. So
can I talk just a little bit about short films, right?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of really, really good short animated films out there and fan films out there on YouTube. Like there's an Alien. I put it up on my Facebook page, and like any fans watching this, I'm a very open individual. If you want to friend me on Facebook, just send me a request, because I put all sorts of stuff up on Facebook about the stuff that I do short stories and things as well on Facebook, just for people who follow me. But anyway, look, there's an Alien animation which is absolutely phenomenal. out there, a 20 minutes one. Brilliant. There's a lot of Alien fan films as well out there that have been, obviously a very strict budget of, 15K or whatever. Fantastic films. And then a lot of original sci-fi, fantasy, and horror that are on YouTube. And I think, those things should be really supported. So I'd love to see, this week maybe, why don't we all go and try and find some favorites, and then if you drop Pete or Chris a line about some of your favorites, we can maybe talk about them in the next couple of weeks.
Or maybe we can reach out to the people who did them.
Yeah,
we could even do that. Yeah,
I'll tell you one of my favorites.
When it comes down to Alien, I just have one thing to say. You know what that is?
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So that is actually one of the best. I think one of the best films ever made. Aliens is a stunning film. Do you know what? I haven't seen Romulus yet. I should.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to see it.
I should see it.
I got Romulus too.
Yep. There's a really good fan film. Highly recommend. It's the top of my list. The first one I'm going to put up, and it's called Grayson, and it has to do with Robin, and it's a phenomenal fan film. Done with a very small budget. It's great. That's the one I'm putting up, and I definitely would love to do that whole fan fiction, fan film thing. So that's definitely my vote.
Yeah, I've got a couple.
All right, John, you got one?
Bad movies is all I can think of right now.
There's good ones, man.
Kung Fury was very good.
Kung Fury, yep.
I mean, look, a lot of people cut their teeth on fan films and then move on and do fantastic original films.
Absolutely.
And they don't, they learn the process of filmmaking because of fan films.
Learn from your mistakes.
Right, yeah, and everything's progressive science. Like, I mentor writers and artists, and some people get very fed up after their first couple of attempts, but it's like life itself is a progressive science. Every day you get better at something, whatever it has to be. If you decide you want to get better at it, so it's all progressive science. So no, I've a lot of love for for the indie film circuits. That's why I'm quite excited about doing the juror for the film festival.
I think there's one off the top of my head that that I love, and it's I know not a Star Wars fan, but I like this one, and it was a cutoff of Cops, and it's called Troops.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
that
good one.
That one's fantastic.
Oh yeah. So watch IFB, guys. Go on to IFB, and we're gonna post some of that stuff because we want to make sure that we do support it. I think that's a good
Battlestar Callisto is one we're trying to get him on. We can't get him on a Thursday, so we're gonna have to do a
special,
a Tuesday or Wednesday or special,
yeah,
for him. But
Mike Goudreau.
he's in Mike Goudreau. Yep, I have to have him.
So that's out there. It's a 2-hour fan film.
Yeah, that's not
next
that's
one.
a fan movie.
Yeah. So as we come to the close, Doc McCauley, I think it's time.
It's time.
Yeah,
it's time. It is 9:53.
That's right, and we need to then. We're going to disclose. Right, we started with it. We teased it out. We held back, and here we are. Yeah.
All right, let's do a close up. Hang on. Now
Commander Kane is going to come after you, man.
Now you can say it.
Go ahead.
Right, okay. Well, we have been chatting to Eric Larson. As many people know, we have an agreement with Eric on various other things at the minute we can't talk about. But Eric is going to be part of our Battlestar Galactica book. He's very excited about the whole thing. We had a meeting with him today. And he's going to be contributing to the Battlestar Galactica book in some very special ways. So that makes the book something of a landmark product for Battlestar fans.
Oh yeah.
So we keep telling you guys we're going to keep delivering for you.
We're gonna try,
and we work hard. We're getting there. We're moving towards what we would see as our ultimate goal.
Take over.
Keep
take over the world. No, that's not it. No. Take over the Battlestar world. There we go. We'll take over. Someday maybe we can write it. My goal would be to write a book for Battlestar. That would be amazing.
Well, we're
Get
getting
a fan
there.
film, and that's close. It's close to a book. So, fan films.
We're getting the book. Is gonna, I got a question as to when we would, when we're thinking. I believe, Doc, that it's probably gonna be out by closer to the end of the year.
Well, yeah, it depends because we'll have to get the cover art done. So we announced the cover artist is.
I don't think
we've done that yet.
Maybe you did.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that for another week. But it's a Battlestar artist.
Well known.
So
very
well known. So we've got to get that done. We've got to get the book compiled. But actually, it doesn't take that long. It just depends on when the publisher's schedule is.
Right.
So once he opens up once the schedule kind of opens up, then we can get the book out. And we also have to look at the optimum times for these things because we're going to want to go to conventions and be there and meet people and sign books and. Well, you're going to have to prize me out of my basement to get me to a convention. But the rest of the guys will go and they will sign books.
Oh, absolutely,
and
we will.
They will smile and kiss children and all the rest of it.
Annihilate humans.
Shake hands and
shake hands and do everything that a good ambassador would do.
Real life.
Thank you for bringing the good news. We had a great show, great guest, John. As usual, you're A game, right? So you got us great guest. You had a great spot.
Do we know who's next week?
Who's next week? John,
next week we don't have a guest yet. We didn't know if we were going to put a guest on the 3rd.
So don't schedule a guest next week because it is close to the end of the month, and I try to get a specific person on once a month, and he usually takes up the entire show. And everybody knows him as Jack Stoffer. So we'll get Jack on.
About the anniversary.
That's what?
Erica? She wants to come on for a few minutes to talk about the...
oh, yeah. I mean, we could have them both on.
Yeah, Erica and Dave will come on for a little bit, and then Jack Stoffer will be our special guest next week. And
that one is supposed to be talking about almost just... I told him to stay on topic. Asked him to stay on a specific topic. I shouldn't say that. Love the guy. He's fantastic. Great. He's lonely. You talk to him for hours. It's fantastic. You learn so much when you talk to him, by the way.
Right.
But the idea, the main topic for that meeting is going to be Second Coming.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. And I'm still, if anybody's out there, I'm still looking for more people who are involved, especially writers, directors, for the Second Coming. I would love to. Nobody knows the story behind it. We've seen the clips and we've seen some of the outtakes that are available out there, but I don't have a copy of I would love to get a hold of a copy of the script. Get something. There's nobody's given the copies out of the script. I guess they have a cease and desist, so therefore there's probably going to be impossible to get a hold of something like that. But we do have the costumers lined up.
Cool.
As part of this, so I do have a line on them, working on getting the costume people on, and some other people that were behind the scenes for that. So I think it would be fun to talk to them to find out, what differences in the uniforms there were, things like that.
Oh yeah, and there's a story there.
Yeah, cool. Sure.
That'd be cool.
And I'm getting a lightning storm right now, so if we jump off the air, we know what the problem is.
Well, with that said.
With that said, we're going to put Doc McCauley back to work.
Yeah, I've got to go. I'm already getting messages about things, so I've got to go, guys. But listen, it was great to chat to you, and I'm sure I'll see you all soon. So fans feel the fleet.
Fans feel the fleet.
Fans feel the fleet, guys. Thank you, and see you next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Oops, I got to find that button. Where is it at? Where is that button? Hey, I found it. We really need a new finish. This one's kind of boring.
Oh, I love it.